Hi, welcome to Walking Wilder. I'm back, and this reading is a general collective reading, so take what resonates and leave the rest. Welcome in if you're new, and welcome back if you have been here before. Let's see what Spirit has to say. Infinite possibilities. There's something that you're wanting to create but are not really trusting can actually come into reality. Something that you consider to be a big ask. Let's see here. An invitation to your life. Yeah, it's like there's something here that you're trying to manifest, but at the same time, you're kind of feeling like, well, this is a very big ask. This is probably not possible. This is not, the chances of this becoming true, is not that great, that type of thing. So it's like you're manifesting, but there's a certain level of doubt that's in there. And Spirit is like, well, this is an invitation, to step fully into your potential, to step fully into your life, and start believing that, yes, you absolutely can manifest things that seems quite I don't want to use the word impossible, but that seems like far-reached, like this is just, here's good luck. I think we'll take that one. A little bit less Spirit. Yeah, this is like Spirit saying, hey, we got your back. There's luck here. You can manifest pretty much whatever it is you want. So we'll look at why you have doubts about this. Let's see here. Desert, resilience. And here's the eagle, which is your connection to your guides. For some of you, there has been sort of a feeling of a drought with this desert card. This feeling that you've had to fight for things, you've had to go through periods of times where you were struggling. And I mean, we all do. It's not, it's not like it's an unusual thing, but it's kind of like, I get this feeling of, I've been in this for so long that I've kind of, this might sound weird, but it's like I've kind of forgotten my own power to actually manifest, my own ability to create something large, because I kind of been stuck in this desert feeling for a long time. So this is, Spirit saying to you, hey, come back, get out of that that stuck space, that feeling of kind of of not being able to get in the groove of feeling abundant. So let's see, Spirit, what's the challenge here? Why is the viewer being so challenged with this? Eight of Cups. Cat. So, wait. My cat is up on the table and she's shaking everything. There's something here that you need to leave behind. Some emotional blockage that's kind of stopping you from manifesting this. And my voice is really acting up. There might be something that you need to say to something that you're not really wanting to say, because maybe you think it's going to hurt them, or maybe it's very final in some way. If you say this, then some cycle, some chapter, something is done. And there's a part of you that doesn't want to let go of that. Here's the Page of Swords. So this is, about being curious on your own motivation, in a sense. kind of like asking yourself, well, why am I so set on being stuck energy, if that makes sense. Why am I refusing? Well, not refusing, because I don't know that you're actually refusing, but you're holding on to quite strongly something that really you should at least emotionally detach from, because that would free up, your like some life force energy almost. Um, Tell me more about this, Spirit. Two of Cups. There's something here that's out of balance. This can be a soul bond connection that you're having a hard time letting go of. Something that has been really important to you, but it's like whatever it is, it's done, at least in the form that it has had. And there's a need to, be curious about why am I feeling stuck in this? Why am I hanging on to something that is not really working, or at least not working in the form that it has? Something needs to change here. Tell me about the Two of Cups. Yeah, here's the King of Pentacles and the High Priestess. So your intuition has told you this for a long time. You actually know that this needs to somehow clear out, to somehow transform in some way into something, with the King of Pentacles here, into something that's more stable, that's more abundant for you. Here's the Nine of Cups. So this, is about feeling emotional stable, emotionally happy, grounded. That I have peace in my life. I have peace, peace. I can't even talk. Peace of mind. This sense of being good. Life is good. And not, in this like la 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 la. I'm refusing to see, the obstacles and all of that. But the general sense of, yeah, life has its ups, it has its downs, but overall, I am happy. Overall, there's peace. Overall, I am doing okay. I feel grounded. I feel like, yes, I can take care of my own emotional needs. There's something here about getting in that flow of life with this invitation to your life. It's like Spirit is like trying to get you to take action towards a place where there's flow, where you have a feeling of good luck. Here, I'm kind of feeling this as, the belief in that, yes, things will work out. Whatever life throws at you, yeah, eventually it'll work out. It might not be pleasant right when you're in it, but it's not this big, dramatic, dramatic thing. It's like there's a sense of being all right on a deep level. Tell me more about the Nine of Cups here. Yeah, Three of Cups. Surrounding yourself with people who are supportive, who are getting who you are, who, there's mutual respect, there's mutual care. That sense of making healthy choices actually really is what this is. Tell me more, Spirit. Yeah, Ace of Wands. You're needing, a new beginning. It's like Spirit is kind of like, all right, here's the invitation to your life. There's a new path for you to be had if you want it. There's a new way of looking at life, a new way of being in life. Basically a new start. It's almost, I'm seeing, a button, and it's like, press this button, reset your life, start from, maybe not from scratch, but it's like there's something in the way that you're viewing your connections and your friendships, your family bonds, your whatever it is with this, with this Eight of Cups and the Two of Cups here. It's like there's a need for you to see your emotional connections with people in a new, more positive light. For some of you, there's a trust issue here that has, for whatever reason, whatever has occurred in your life, you kind of have adopted this feeling of, well, I can't really trust that people have good intentions, and some people may not have had good intentions, but Spirit is like, hey, let's, a new start here. Let's begin again, and learn to trust, that people are here for your highest good, that people are, real. I don't know, that's a weird word, but tell me a little bit more about that. What's the challenge with this, Spirit, and what's the supportive energy? How can we work with this? Yeah, the star. There's a need to heal a pattern here. And I really feel like I don't really have any cards that says that, but for some reason, it's like this here, the seer of nature, being grounded, being authentic, this basic feeling of abundance. I'm getting this vibe of learning to trust that life will pan out, and that sounds like a big cliche type of thing, but that's really what I'm feeling with this, learning to trust that life will pan out. Easier said than done. Here's the Four of Cups. In the original Red Rider deck, this is the one where he's sitting under the tree and Spirit is trying to, give him this cup of love, this cup of joy. And he's just like so focused on the things of the past that has not panned out the way that he wanted it to, that he's not seeing the new opportunities. And it's kind of that feeling I'm getting here. It's like, let it be, let it be, whatever it is, whatever it was, and start looking ahead. There's a certain sense of needing to accept whatever, has been, because really, I mean, you can't change it anyway. You can sit around for as long as you want to and ponder about it, but that's not going to change what happened. So it's this feeling of healing your kind of like an attachment to keep looking at it. Like if you look at it long enough, it might change, but that's not the reality of things. So there's a need to get out of the desert and kind of, this eagle here with your guys, but it's also like seeing things a little bit from above, but also listening to the guidance that's coming. Here's the healing again underneath that, trying to let go of whatever it is that has taught you not to trust. Two of Wands here. This to me is like, there's a choice to make here about a balanced future, basically. This feeling of this path here that you can have forward, that's more balanced, that's there for the taking, is basically my feeling with this. It's kind of like moving forward with new glasses on, with a new perspective. Oh, all right. That didn't go over well. Hold on a second. It's very early here. I couldn't sleep, and so I'm like, well, we'll do a reading. What's the supporting energy here? What don't we see coming that's supporting this, Spirit? The Moon. Something coming into light. But also I feel like an acceptance of just accepting whatever your intuition is telling you without having to go dig deeper. Being okay with it. There might be things you never really will understand about the past, or things you might never really fully feel like you have the full story on. But even if you don't, it doesn't matter, because it's like it's done. It's the past, it's here in the moonlight. It was whatever it was. Tell me more about that, Spirit. Four of Pentacles. Yeah, it's kind of, this is the feeling to me. It gives me the feeling of, of grabbing whatever is coming your way. This feeling of basically I don't know, going, just accepting that things was, and start rebuilding, a more fulfilling life in some way. Creating your own stability, creating your own future, choosing this path forward, seeing what it is. There's a certain level with the page of the cups over here. There's a certain level of being curious about what else can I create? What else is out there for me? What else does life have to give? Shifting your focus from this desert energy of things that didn't work the way you wanted it to, and be, kind of like this invitation to your life, infinite possibilities, being in this state of expecting miracles, you know it's like, yeah, today something magical will happen. If that's the way you approach life with, then things will, magical things will happen, because whatever you focus on, that's what you create more of. So it's like, if you're focusing on the past is just going to keep coming back, showing you the same lessons, maybe different people, but it will be the same lessons. But if it's like, you accept, okay, there are lessons to be had here, I've seen it to the best of my ability, that I might have missed something, but hey, it's time to choose a new path forward here, and just leave behind, in this whatever you haven't seen by now, let it be. What don't we see coming, Spirit? Yeah, here's the Six of Swords. This is moving away from all this overthinking, from all this constantly trying to figure things out, constantly trying to, you know, I'm seeing someone having, inner discussions with themselves, this like mental ping pong going back and forth, but maybe, and then they said, and then they did, and then this happened in this situation, and why did that, and blah, blah, blah. It's like this mental prison kind of thing. And spirit is like, no, just use your intuition, go where there's peace, go with the flow, focus on creating something new, and you know, let go of your emotional attachment to trying to figure something out that's already done. Or trying to find, it's like some of you are trying to find a new way of going back to the same thing. And it's like, okay, if I see it in a new way, then it will change. But it's not going to be able to change because it's in the past, it's already done. Regardless of how you spin the story in your head, how you look at it, whatever you do, it's still done. It's that kind of feeling, so there's this need to get out of this desert, this stuckness of sitting there just thinking, and reconnecting with your inner magician, with this way of looking at life, that I can manifest the life that I want. Yeah, judgment here, see things for what they are and just let them be. They're taking up too much space in your head is what I'm hearing. All right, Spirit, what will manifest in the next, I don't know, 1 to 3 months maybe, in this? Where are we headed here? Or what's the possibility? Three of Wands, yeah, a new vision for your life. Looking ahead instead of looking back. Four of Swords, which to me in this deck, it's well, this is also about healing, but there's also a lot of balance here. It's kind of like, I get this sense of accepting whatever was for whatever it was, and just being okay with that, sort of like putting it to rest, and looking ahead. That's too many. What else, Spirit? What else can you tell me here? Five of Swords. And the King of Wands. Yeah, it's like, you are the leader in your own life here. So you decide, do you want to be in this Five of Swords energy here? Do you want to have, more discussions with yourself, have more discussions with other people? Do you want to keep repeating the storyline? Do you want to, keep using mental capacity to going over this again and again and again? Or do you kind of want to put that to rest with the Four of Swords and then get a new vision for your future, and focus on that? That's pretty much the task here. Yeah, Six of Wands. Get in this mode of, I'm building something new. I want success in my life, whatever that looks like for you. But it's like focusing on that, focusing on what you actually, you know, can focus on, what you can manifest here, what you want your life to look like. Yeah, putting up some boundaries here. And this, can be actually, and this might sound weird, but this can be boundaries with yourself. Kind of going like, all right, get out of my own head, go do something productive, go do something that makes me feel good, go plant something in your garden or whatever, but it's like sometimes we get in these modes of overthinking something and it just runs like a movie on repeat in your head, da, 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 the same storyline. And this is basically you going like, all right, that's enough. I am going to actually go do something that, makes me feel good, something that makes me feel grounded, something that has, some sort of inspired action here. Yeah, Page of Wands. Get a new perspective on things. Learn something new. Do something new. Go out there. Be curious. Be, you know, playful. And here's the Two of Swords. This is your decision. You decide, do you want to stay stuck or do you want to say, all right, I think I've been over this storyline enough now. It's time for me to move into something new and then go do it. It's kind of like, basically, and it sounds so easy and I know it's not, but in all reality, it ends with you deciding, I've had enough of this. Because there's not going to be a magical moment where you'll be like, all right, I'm all healed. This story is all healed, because the story is still what the story always was. You're not going to be able to change that. So it comes down to this moment where you decide, I'm done with this. I've looked at it from every angle possible, this eagle's point of view. Uh, and and of course there's the snake, so as above, so below. You looked at it, you've seen the shadow work, you've been there, you've done it, you've done the work. Now it's a matter of deciding, I'm done with this. I want to look at the possibilities in my life. I want to rejoin my life, basically. I know that sounds a little, but it's kind of like, I'm leaving the desert. Enough of that. There's other things out here. Spirit is inviting you, your guides are inviting you to do something different, to say, I've had enough of this. It's time to reclaim my good luck, to start manifesting a new life and go for that. So it's your choice. You can stay in the desert, or you can say, that's enough, been there, done that. I want to see what else is there. And just leave the past in the past. It doesn't necessarily have to mean that you leave, the people that this happened with behind, but it's like, I'm done with that cycle. I'm done with that way of doing it. I'm done with being in the energy the way that it was. You might still be friends if this was a friendship, but we're not going over this story again. And I have better boundaries. I have a better vision. You know, I'm doing my life in a new way, and then see what happens from that. So I hope it makes sense. Please click like, give it a thumbs up. Well, I guess that's the same thing. Subscribe if you feel called to do so. And thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Big love.